I want to show you. I'm getting it set up. If you could hang in there for a few moments. Got some, I'm not saying news, but I got information for you. Oh, Josh. It is the alternating series test, so he joined in as well. So let me log in to Canvas. Everybody should have got their report 8, right? Week 8 report. Right. If one of you know it, I know all of you got it. Did one of you get it? Calvin got it, so we know it's happening. Okay, so let me kick into our class. I'm almost there. I'll go into student view because that'll be closer to what you would expect to see. Okay, right, I'm ready to show you now. I don't know if it scares you, but it always scares me how quickly a quarter goes. We've just finished week 9. Right? And that's going to have an influence because we're coming up in the final. And what you're looking at right now, I hope, is final exam information resources. Is that what you say? Right. So I've put this module up to help you get ready for your final. And we'll talk about what's here in a few moments. But let me remind you again, because I sometimes don't know if I've told you it. So next week is kind of weird because Wednesday, I am not going to be doing one of these one-on-one classes, right? On Monday's normal. Wednesday, you'll just have to watch a video, right? Because Wednesday is actually an in-service day for me, right? The college is closed, but I've got an in-service day. So I'll be putting up Wednesday's thing later in the day. I don't know when I'll be finished my in-service, stuff. They talk forever, so it's probably going to be quite late. And that's what you'll do. So week 9, no, that's not week 10. That's going to be week 10. That's Thanksgiving week. And it's not fair. I don't want to do this to any of you because you've got family and you might be traveling to visit them. There is not going to be any homework or test. Not this Sunday. This Sunday's normal, right? This week 9 is, test on Sunday, everything else. But the following Sunday, no test, nothing. The week after that is technically week 11. So what I've done is week 10 and 11 has just become one unit at a time. So you will have all the homework for everything that's left and one test called online test 10 to do. And that's you finished. So if you have family commitments, you can hold off on homework, right? Because you don't have to do it, on the Sunday of Thanksgiving, right? You've got another week after that. And I just think that's right because I don't want, be cruel, wouldn't it? That you have family and you have to do a test on Sunday and you're halfway to Kansas or wherever you go when you meet family. John.
Is this what you're discussing right now? Is it written down on the syllabus?
No, this is me just telling you what's going to happen. When I see you next,
would you mind sending an email, follow-up email, just letting us know? Because I didn't write it down when we were talking. I apologize.
I will definitely tell you on Monday again, because Monday of next week is just a normal day again. But I'll take a little note to myself. Write it down. I probably won't do it today, but I will get it out sometime in the next few days, right?
Also, Thomas asked a question early on. I don't know if you answered it, where he said, Power series start at n=0, not n=1?
They are allowed to start at 0, 1, or any number, typically. Normally they start at 0, but sometimes they miss out 1 or 0, and they start at 1. Can you imagine a power series x to the n over n? You wouldn't like to begin n=0 in that power series because that would be bad news. So in general, they begin with 0, but they don't need to. They can start with 1, n=1, or even n=2. I've seen that happen sometimes. Okay, so I missed that question. Right. So I'll write this guy down. Let's see what we've got here. Right. The first thing I'm going to click on is the topics for your final. And this is your final. And the first section we done was 12.1. And if you look at what's left, because we finished 11.8 today, there's 3 more sections, 11, 9, 10, and finally 11. Right? I will be doing next week 11.9 in class as usual, like this, and then I'll be making a video of 11.10, and then when the week after Thanksgiving happens, I'll be doing 11.11 on Monday, and Wednesday is going to be revised for the final. Right. So you come in on that Wednesday and you say, hey, can we go over, I don't know, can we go over the cross product, right? Or can we go over arc length and curvature, or whatever the question might be. So everything that is here is going to appear, right? Or could appear, that's a better way, in the final. Now your final will not be WebAssign. Your final will be a PDF. And your final, I need to see you. But since you all work at different times and different hours, on the day of the final, let's find out when your final is. On the day of the final, which in your case is December the 6th, which is Tuesday, you have to find a time to be available, and I need to see you. So if you don't have a camera, which I know John and Calvin have because I can see you, but not everybody does, you can join Zoom with your phone and I can see you on your phone. And you're going to tell me when you're going to appear so that I'll make sure I'm there to watch you. And I'm not going to say it has to be 3 to 6 because John might have a conference meeting and he doesn't want to lose his job, right? So John will say, can I have it from 7 till 10? Or can I have it from 12 to 3, right? You're just going to look at your own schedule on Tuesday the 6th, and you're going to tell me what 3-hour slot you're going to be there, and I'll make sure that I'll be watching you on Zoom, right? And you'll be able to do it. And that's just part of the security of, we want to make sure that your grade is what you deserve and not what someone else over your shoulder. And not that Natalie would ever do it because I trust her implicitly. But Natalie, you didn't know this, has a twin sister who's really good at mathematics, right, Natalie? And she actually does all her work for her, and she just sends it to me as if it was hers. Isn't that correct, Natalie?
Absolutely.
Right. So if I see Natalie, I will know that she's got a twin sister next to her, in which case she won't do it, right? So it's a security thing. And we want everybody to be treated the same, right? Because my on-ground class, their security is dead obvious. I can see them, right? I'm walking around the room because they're on ground. So everybody gets the same thing. So if for some weird reason, nothing in December the 6th works for you, right? If that isn't the case, then we can have a backup plan, and you tell me when you're available and I'll see if I can work that into my schedule. But really your commitment should be to get that guy done, right? That's your job. If you've got a camera like John, it's great. If you don't, you can upload the Zoom app and just stick it on a book, pointing at yourself, and that's pretty much the security. And it's going to be the usual PDF, but I need to see working for everything, right? So that will be another security measure, because if you've been just doing hit 1, it doesn't work, hit 2, it doesn't work, until you're 5 guesses and you always get the right answer eventually, and that will show up. So any questions about that? Say again, Natalie?
Can we still use our notes like on the midterm?
The notes on the midterm are allowed, yes. Right. Online classes are a little bit different from on-ground classes. what am I trying to say here without insulting people? If I said don't do it, some people would do it anyway, and I wouldn't be able to tell. Because if you had notes on the table, I can't see your table, right? I don't know if you're doing it. And I don't think that's fair to treat someone who's honest, who won't do it because I say don't, and someone who would do it anyway. So to try and do it at a level playing field, you're allowed to use your notes. The thing about the notes, which kind of helps me sort things out, is if you have to look up your notes for every question, won't you run out of time? And so you won't get all the questions finished, so that will affect your grade, right? So I think that's pretty good. That's kind of the balance, right? Now, final exam topics done. You do get this guy, which is a formula sheet with some trig identities, and that will be available on the day of the final. In fact,
can we use our book?
Yeah, it counts as notes. Yeah. The final exam formula sheet is just convenient because everything's in one place, right? You can just look at it and it's probably going to be in there more than not. Now, that's for people who should know how to do it because we did it in the midterm, right? Take pictures of everything, send it to me. Here is just resources for you. This is an example of a practice final. Your final won't be anywhere near as big as this. Your final, and I'll make that in my email as well. I'll try and put as much of what I said today in the email, right? Your final will have 10 multiple choice. Do you see these guys here? Can I make this a bit bigger? Make it full page even, right? That's better. Right. You're given a question and one of these guys converges. And for multiple choice, I don't want to see the working. It won't make any difference if I do, because you pick the right answer and it's either right or wrong, right? So that one's A and this one's C and that one's D and so on. And you're going to get 10 of these multiple choice. Now, if you look at this practice, do you see there's a lot more than 10 questions? How many are there? 21 questions, right? So your final will have 10 multiple choice. Each one of those questions is worth 5 points, so that adds up to 50. And then section 2, which is where you'll show me your working, right? Section 2, and there's 10 of those questions as well, but they're worth 25 points each, which adds up to 250. So your entire final exam is 300 points, which is 30% of your exam. So if you've been dishonest, which I hope nobody is, and I'm confident no one is, and haven't actually done anything, somebody else has done it for you, right? That one you're going to bomb. And if you bomb the final, you're going to fail, right? So all that sort of immoral thing that you did to try and get by this class will come back and bite you. So in section 2, I need to see working. In fact, if I do not see working, you're getting 0 points. So I don't want you to tell me that converges, right? I don't need to know. You're going to prove to me that it converges, right? You're going to do L'Hopital or brute force or divide top and bottom by n cubed or whatever the method is in these ones here. And as we go through these questions, let's just randomly stop. Yes.
Professor, just to double check, just to reiterate what you just said, we don't have to show our work for the multiple choice, do we?
Correct.
Okay.
In fact, if you don't know the answer to a multiple choice question, will you please guess? You've got a 1 in 4 chance. Now, sometimes you might be able to say, I don't know the answer, but I know it's not B and C, right? In which case you've 2 to guess from, and that improves your chances of guessing correctly. But no, I don't want, in fact, I don't want to see the working for them because it just clutters up my ability to read the rest, right? So just say 1 is A, 2 is C, and so on. While we're on that, do not look for patterns. Some people think, oh, he's done 4 questions in a row and they've all been A. The next question can't possibly be A again, and they talk themselves out the right answer. I randomly do these questions. I really don't know when I've jumbled it so many times what the right answer is. I have 4 answers and I just move them around, and sometimes I change one from a different wrong answer, right, to another different wrong answer. So I've seen ones where I've had 5 A's in a row. I know it's unlikely, but it can happen. So don't plan and look for patterns, right? Take each question as it is, and if you get an A and then another D and a third A, well, that could happen, right? Nothing wrong with that.
But this is a cumulative test, right? Like it's the whole class, right?
Yeah.
Because all I see on these ones are converging or diverging questions.
Oh, yeah, so far, right? If I scroll a bit further, there you go. Do you see vectors and angles between things? I mean, oops, I've scrolled too far. Yeah, there. You see Maclaurin series. You don't know what Maclaurin series is, but it's one of the 3 sections that we've still to do. Here are vector questions. Here are unit vector questions. Remember parametric equations, that's here. Stuff to do with lines, right? It's all there, right? Everything that you've done. Keep going, keep going. Oh, remember finding velocity and all that kind of good stuff. We did stuff like that. Remember the unit tangent vector, right? There we go, curvature, all that good stuff. And you have solutions. And every question, there we go. Question 28, for instance, do you see the solution to it? And where did I finish? Okay. There's question 33. Here's the solution to it. And
So is this like an 8-hour exam?
no, you only get 10 questions, not 33 questions, right? But this basically just gives you a whole spectrum of stuff, right? Plenty to look at and say, oh, I've forgotten all about if you tell me r-t, how to get the original spacecraft, right? Or whatever it might be. So it's just a resource. 10 multiple choice, 10 section 2s. And I've also put in midterm practice questions. There's some multiple choice, guys. And here's some section 2 stuff.
December 6th.
Is that when I did it? No, December 6th is when our test is, yes. And not that it matters to you, but since my birthday is December the 7th, you lot are going to be contributing to me having a horrible birthday, because I will be grading your stuff on the 7th. And well, actually you could make it a good birthday by doing really well, honestly.